It's often said that the main event is a marathon, not a sprint. If that's the case, we're only on about mile 16. So far on day 5, it's the young guys who are setting the pace.
Look where you started. Look where you started.
But looming in the pack is an elite group of seasoned players, including a couple of guys who know all about winning this race.
Try it sometime, see what happens.
And about 350 others who have no intention of being left in the dust.
Let's go, let's go.
Eli, I'm calling you.
They've made it more than halfway, but there's still a long distance to cover, and all are hoping they have the endurance to make it to that finish line.
We'll do it, don't worry.
Once again to the main event of the 2010 World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. With Norman Chan, I'm Lon McCarran, and we are set to rejoin the action here on day 5.
First hand all day.
Inside the Rio, more and more tables are getting hauled away as the field is now down to just 357 players. Among them, we still have 3 Mizrachi brothers. While over at table 2, we once again find the 1998 world champ, Scotty Wynn, as well as James Carroll, who is currently amongst the chip leaders with over 1.8 million. And over at the feature table, we still have online legend Phil Galfond.
Bracelet winner, poker entrepreneur, and coach, feared whether he's online or on the felt. He is joined by the emotional and fiery 26-year-old Italian pro Filippo Candio, and also here, one of Galfond's friends, 22-year-old pro Kevin Boudreau, still sporting his Peter Jeddenbud.
Do you have any big tournament cashes?
This year, no.
No, but like whatever, right?
I won one 2 years ago.
Won a bracelet or? Oh,
yeah. A low bracelet, right?
The Galfond's right is Jonathan Driscoll, an amateur. He might be the only one at this table who doesn't know who Phil Galfond is. All right, the blinds are at 5 and 10,000, a 1,000 chip ante. Hold it over to Phil Galfond. And on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam, Queen Jack of clubs.
When he turned 21, Galfond and friends took a road trip to Tunica, Mississippi. He played in a World Series circuit main event there and finished 18th.
Phil raised to 23,000. Jimmy Tran lays it down to Michael Wyrot, 21, another Canadian in the money. 3 Canadians at this table, ace-10 off.
Wyrot, one of 9 players left who could break Joe Cata's record as youngest main event champion ever.
He calls for 23,000 to Candio on the button, Jack 9.
Very excitable, but usually at the end of hands.
He quietly folds. So it'll be heads up, Galfond and young Wyrot.
Playing heads up against Phil Galfond.
Sure, but he's got to play heads up against Michael Wyrot. Maybe he's worried.
All right, here's the flop, 6-4 ace. That makes it easier on Wyrot catching an ace. Galfond was the first player over $2 million in this tournament. He's since given back about $700,000 of that. He bets $25,000 here.
Well, it does help a little to be playing heads up against Phil Galfond with the best hand, but it's no guarantee, Lon.
Wyrot makes the call. He's loving this. It's a 7 of spades. Wyrot now with a check mark. Galfond drawing dead and checks.
And still with nothing, Galfond does decide to switch gears.
Wyrot checks as well. River card is another 6. Will Galfond take a stab at it now? Nope, he checks.
I told you, you're Michael Wyrot. He's got to play heads up against you, son.
42,000 from Wyrot.
That's how you play heads up against Phil Galfond.
Phil folds. So with aces up, the young Canadian takes some chips off the online legend.
Take that one off the bucket list.
Lon, I've got 3 things on my bucket list. See the Great Wall of China, get married 5 times, and belly up just once to play the main event.
Indeed, the main event has become a bucket list item for many people. Some wish to play, others just want to cash, and nowadays making the November 9 is the ultimate destination. Well, for the remaining players, that incredible dream is inching closer to becoming an amazing reality.
But Lon, I don't care if you're 98 champ Scotty Wynn, online legend Phil Galfond, or the unstoppable Mizrachi boys. No one should count his final table chips before their bag. Remember the cautionary tales of Daniel Negreanu in 01, Scotty himself in 07, and Billy Kopp last year. All among the chip leaders with 12 players left, all finished 11th. It's no limit, baby. Blink, and you're gone.
And Norman, nobody knows that better than the man at table 2, Scotty Wynn, who you just mentioned. He's in a hand right now, flopping a set of 8s. He put out a bet of $45,000. Action to James Carroll, who paired his 10. Carroll folds. Jamie Brown now has pocket 6s. They're now in the muck. To Edward O'Shaughnessy.
O'Shaughnessy's nickname is Fast Eddie. I don't gamble against anyone called Fast Eddie.
O'Shaughnessy with king high and an up and down straight draw makes the call. Turn card now is a jack, and O'Shaughnessy hits his jack high straight.
See what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Fast Eddie pulled a fast one on the turn.
Fast Eddie first to act. And he puts out $83,000.
That's a small bet. I don't think Scotty was going anywhere, even if it were a big bet with his set. As it is, he's getting more than 4-1 on a call here.
He does make the call. And these two will go to the river. The river card is another 10, and Scotty Rivers a full house. Good fold by Carroll, who would have hit trip 10s and maybe lost some chips to Scotty's boat.
Well, not so Fast Eddie. Not so sure what to do now.
Checks over to Scotty Wynn.
Oh, here comes Speedy Scotty.
That's $150,000.
He value bets it, and O'Shaughnessy's going to have a tough time getting away from a straight.
He is suspicious.
Pocket 7s again, so that's good. You always get those pocket 7s.
Scotty doubled through O'Shaughnessy with pocket 7s earlier.
And it's pocket 8s.
Maybe.
100%.
Does O'Shaughnessy have the info he needs? He's going to lay it down.
Shows the straight. And as Jean-Robert Ballon would say, excellent laydown by O'Shaughnessy.
Scotty Wynn will take that 5. And he'll show his hand to reinforce the notion that Scotty's always got it, baby. And Scotty, of course, had it most of the time when he won it all in '98. And what a memorable last hand that was. The main event often brings out amazing stories, whether it be a former world champ going for another title or that of an amateur like Gary Kostiuk from Grand Prairie, Canada. He was diagnosed with a very progressive form of multiple sclerosis a few years ago.
His son Ryan is here with him. Gary calls him his sports psychologist and caregiver here in Las Vegas.
Kostiuk says it was on his bucket list to play in the main event, and here he is. Checking in on another player who's had several amazing runs in the main event, Johnny Chan. He just put out a big raise on the river against Patrick Skander.
Nice bet.
And Skander will lay it down to Johnny Chan.
Steady as she goes for Johnny Chan, trying to make it to the main event final table for a 5th time.
You can breathe. You saw my whole cards or what?
Johnny Chan, as you mentioned, continuing to build his stack over $1.8 million now. To another amazing story from this year's World Series, Michael the Grinder Mizrachi, 3 final tables, including his first bracelet in the Poker Players Championship.
How sick would Frank Costello feel if I won this? Like I just imagine our picture, like both of our faces. He told me he's like, if you win the main event, I don't even want to be Player of the Year.
The Grinder would have to win the main event to tie Frank Costello for Player of the Year.
We'll split the wall photo.
Of course, there's more to this amazing Mizrachi story. Older brother Robert's still in this too, and right now he has a chance to eliminate Jacob Tyler, though Tyler's ahead right now after pairing his king on the flop.
Turn card, please. 10%.
All right, now the turn card. Queen of Diamonds, Tyler still ahead. Mizrachi with a straight draw.
With an ace or a 10, Robert Mizrachi would knock out Jacob Tyler.
Tyler, so far enjoying his first World Series cash. He's at risk with 1 card to come. The river card is another 8, and Tyler will double up with kings up. And he goes right through Robert Mizrachi. To the third and youngest Mizrachi brother now. Donnie is all in against Theo Jorgensen. Mizrachi's Jack-9 of Diamonds needing to improve against Jorgensen's King-Queen of Clubs. And the flop gives Mizrachi a pair of 9s to grab the lead.
All 4 Mizrachi brothers cashing here in the main event. 3 are left.
A deuce on the turn. Jorgensen already had a gut shot.
Jorgensen is going to need a king, queen, or jack to send Donnie Mizrachi home.
And the river card is the jack, and Jorgensen hits his king high straight to knock out Donnie Mizrachi.
Eric gone the other day, now Donnie. The Mizrachis are dropping like flies.
The big stack of Jorgensen collects the last of Donnie Mizrachi's chip stack.
The sweet smell of stacking Mizrachi chips.
Good job.
Donnie Mizrachi goes out in 345th place, wins over $36,000. And now just 2 Mizrachi brothers remain in this main event as Michael and Robert see their youngest sibling make his way to the exit.
The World
series of poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Welcome back inside the Rio. In the 2010 main event, just 342 players remain. The chip average currently just over 640,000. Phil Galfond with about twice the chip average, just over 1.2 million, and he's got pocket sixes.
Galfond lived in a Las Vegas house for a while with Peter Jedden, Andrew Roble, and Alan Sass. That's a lot of poker brain power under one roof. I don't think anyone cooked, though.
A raise to 23,000 from Galfond over to Wyrot with 9-8 of hearts.
He's studying finance at the University of Toronto. I believe they are the Rambling Rep.
And he calls from under the gun +2. Condio with Queen Jack.
He loves to study Lady Gaga's music. He is a fan.
And he folds there. So Wyrot and Galfond. What's Galfond thinking?
He's thinking I'm heads up against Michael Wyrot again.
8-6-7. Galfond hits a set. Wyrot with a pair of eights and an up and down straight draw. Galfond will sit on his set. Wyrot bets 35,000.
Yeah, that was a really nice flop for Wyrot's hand.
But it's second best to Galfond's set. Galfond with the call. Turn card is an ace. Galfond still best with a set. That missed Wyrot. Galfond checks again.
Galfond expects Wyrot to bet again.
Wyrot does not.
Oh, the great Phil Galfond was wrong.
Another 7 on the river gives Galfond sixes full. And he'll bet it this time, 85,000. Wyrot shaking his head.
He just realized he's heads up against Galfond.
He said 10s are good. He's trying to get info from Phil, but Phil is not so accommodating, and he'll scoop the chips.
Well, that was a nice laydown from the 21-year-old.
So Phil gets a few chips back from Wyrot. Galfond's aggression at this table has been about average, but he's really been getting busy post-flop. Look at that, 87%.
That's why I never have him over for Thanksgiving. He's okay with the appetizers, but then he just destroys the turkey.
Back to table 2, Scotty Wynn looking on as Edward Oshana, who doubled Scotty earlier, is in danger of going out himself. Oshana's queens are in the lead, though, against Jonathan Duhamel's ace-10 as we go to the flop.
Oshana looks uneasy, but Duhamel is well behind.
6-king-7, Oshana and his queens hold up so far. He's trying to double through Duhamel. Turn card is a 10. That pairs Duhamel.
So now Duhamel can knock out Oshana with a river ace or 10.
The river card is an 8, so Oshana will double up through Jonathan Duhamel.
And now the Canadian with less than 15 big blinds left.
And with that double up, Oshana now over 500,000. So let's head out into the field now where we find Michael, the grinder Mizrachi, with a chance to knock out an opponent. However, that opponent, Andres Karoknai's pocket nines are ahead of the grinder's ace-king.
You know, overall, I wonder how many players Grinder has busted at this World Series. He's gone deep in so many events this year.
All right, here's the flop. Karoknai at risk. It is ace-4 jack. Karoknai hates to see that. Pair of aces for Mizrachi.
Another victim in progress.
Ace is up for Grinder now.
Only a 9 will save Karoknai.
The river card is a 10, and Mizrachi with the knockout. Andres Karoknai eliminated in 339th place, while Grinder, who started the day short stacked, is up to almost 900,000.
Geez, even when Mizrachis are knocked out, they seem to multiply. Hey, Donnie, get your cash and go home.
To one of the bigger stacks in the room, Matt Affleck looking on as Tony Dunst with aces up made a raise on the river, but Ari Clipper with a flush makes the call, and that will put a big hurt on Tony Dunst.
2 pair, ace, queen, flush.
That top 2, no good for Tony Dunst.
So that didn't work.
I like this kid. Good look, good attitude.
Started the day as the chip leader, but he's lost a lot of that stack. Over now to Michael Skinder, the pro basketball player from Germany, facing a big pre-flop raise from Christian Harder.
Harder, just 22 years old, 7 cashes at this World Series.
I'm all in.
The aggressive Skinder raises Harder all in. And Harder will fold.
5 bluff me.
Skinder shows ace-king.
Oh my god. Why do that? Crazy guy.
Skinder with almost $2.5 million. Not a bad run so far for someone who took up poker as a hobby to step away from his real job.
The last 12 years I played professional basketball in Germany. I was a small forward. The atmosphere, it's 3,000 people, it's great. People like it, love it. It's still a good life. It was 3 or 4 years ago, the televised poker in Germany TV, and Then the teammates, we started playing poker. It was great, it was fun, and we played on the way trips in the bus. We had really fun. Poker is tougher because it's too many good players. I think I'm born for that. I like to have competition. Crazy! It's like in the sports. You play a hand, you lose, you're angry, you win a hand, you celebrate. I cannot hold my emotions. Ace-8, baby, ace-10. I'm just seeing this one chance in my life. That's how I see it. Woo!
The 31-year-old small forward had to sit out last year with a knee injury. He hopes to return to basketball, and eventually he wants to play poker full-time.
Over to Steve Sanders. He's all in, but his pocket aces are dominating the ace-7 of Dylan Lindy.
Sanders 54th at last year's main event, and now after life-saving surgery, hoping to improve this year.
Flop is no problem for Sanders.
I don't want to sweat.
His ace is still in the lead. Turn card gives him trips. That makes it official. He'll double up.
A remarkable 2-year run for the amateur on the free roll of his life.
Sanders, though, still in the red zone with just 134,000 chips. Back now to Matt Affleck, who's contemplating the all-in of Hugo Franca on the river.
Franca had check raised on the turn and now has shoved it all in.
Matt needs almost $500,000 to call. And he does indeed do that.
All in a call. 352.
Affleck shows ace-king, top pair, top kicker. Franca mucks.
Franca is gone. Affleck once again chip leader.
He's the first over $3 million and in familiar territory atop the leaderboard. Time now for Deal Me In, brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. In the 2004 main event, Mike Matusow had a huge decision to make in a hand against Greg Raymer.
I got 7-9 of spades, so I just raised it up. Greg did the big overbet re-raise and looked me right in the eye. And whenever he looked me in the eye, he was weak. So I said, you know what? He's got ace-jack or ace-queen. I had no choice but to follow my read and call.
Matusow will make the call. We'll go to the flop. 10-9-3, a pair of nines now for Mike.
Shockingly to me, Greg moved all in.
All in. Raymer acting decisively and aggressively again, going all in on just a draw.
Me and Greg were two of the top 5 chip leaders of the tournament at that time. I told you I was going to bust you. You came after me, didn't I? Call. I called, and sure enough, he didn't have a pair. Don't let me be wrong, God. Great poker players read other poker players. I make a living on reading weakness. Blank on the turn, dealer. 2. Blank.
Turn card 2 of diamonds, and that gives Greg Raymer the winning flush.
Yes!
Unfortunately, he made a flush.
Also, man, of course, the ultimate survivor of that main event. To another survivor, Jean Rivera Ballon. He has Larry Karambas all in, but Karambas ahead with pocket nines against the wheel draw and 2 overs of Ballon. Karambas needs to dodge an ace, jack, or tray.
Come on, 3.
The river card is another 4, and Karambas will win it with 9s and 5s.
The Fonz doubles up. Hey!
Milan slips below 1.7, but still a healthy stack. Let's head back over to table 2, where Scotty Wynn is once again putting his chips to work. After the flop, Scotty put out a bet of $32,000 with an up and down straight draw. Action is on David Emmons, who has the best made hand with a pair of queens.
Emmons, a 24-year-old poker pro. He once was a golf caddy.
Emmons with a raise to $85,000. James Carroll folds his pair of 5s. Scotty makes the call.
5, right?
Turn card now is an 8 of diamonds, a 3rd diamond on board. Scotty adds a flush draw.
And it looks like the Prince of Poker wants to get busy here, adding that flush draw to his straight draw. He plays pretty snugly at the main event.
He's put together $150,000. They're now in the middle. Emmons with the pair of queens lays down the best hand.
Scotty Wynn applies the pressure. David Emmons relents.
Scotty's aggression getting the best of Emmons. Scotty shows the jack of diamonds and collects another pot. He's now over 1 million chips. Back to the feature table, where Phil Galfond hoping to continue to build his stack back up. Once over 2 million, down to around 1.3. Action here on Gianluca Speranza, Italian poker pro from L'Aquila, Italy, with pocket 7s.
Speranza and Filippo Candio, both Italian. No Italian has ever won the main event.
And he's going to make a raise to $26,000. Fold it over to Galfond. Galfond looks down at 8 tray of diamonds.
He says poker players' biggest downfall is ego. You need to know when you're making mistakes, he says.
Phil getting creative, letting his chips do the work here with a re-raise to 72,000.
Well, from the hijack position, Galfond is trying to hijack this hand.
Folded 2 Wyrot with pocket jacks on the button.
At 21, you didn't know how to play pocket jacks, Lon.
Who knows how to play pocket jacks? Wyrot looking to make another raise. He re-raises to 180,000.
That's how you play pocket jacks.
Yeah, indeed. So action back to Speranza. His 7s go into the muck.
How much do you have left?
Started the hand with about 900.
This kid is getting his bucket list's worth, and I don't think Phil Galfond has an immediate future in this hand.
He's got to posture a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's posturing.
Save a little face and folds. So Wyrot gets some more chips.
Show one. Thank you.
Show one.
Show one, you can pick.
Can I
One.
pick?
Just one.
Like a game show.
I bet Condio picks a jack.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. If Condio had seen the other jack as well, the roof might have come off the Rio.
Wyrot over $1 million. Galfond still above the chip average of 762,000.
Galfond and Tony Dunst, they lose with a smile. It's refreshing to see.
All right, back in the field, we once again check in on Steve Sanders. All in, only this time he's behind with pocket 9s. His opponent, Juha Helppi, has pocket queens. Sanders looking for help. He gets none on the flop.
Sanders owes his life to a bad beat he took last year against Dennis Phillips. It's all good since then.
Turn card now is a 5. No help to Sanders.
Sanders has to have a 9.
All boys down to the river.
The river card now is a 4, and that will do it. Steve Sanders eliminated from the 2010 main event.
He'll be in the ER within an hour and then back cashing again next year.
Sanders earns almost $42,000.
What a great story Steve Sanders has been.
That pot puts Helppi over $1 million chips now.
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you guys next year.
Sanders nearly lost his life while playing in the main event last year, but made it back to play the game he loves and make an impressive run here in 2010. Back at the Rio, action underway at the featured table. Filippo Condio pushed all in with ace-9 off. Finn McNamara with pocket kings, then shoved all in behind him. McNamara is the all-in player, but Condio has him barely covered.
What a huge moment for these two young pros.
And there's an ace in the flop for Condio.
Condio, of course, was upset with McNamara earlier in the day when he failed to check down a hand, allowing Kevin Boudreau to survive.
Condio still good after that deuce.
Condio not celebrating yet, but only a king will save McNamara now.
River card's a 5, and Condio does knock out Finn McNamara.
You know Condio wants to erupt.
Yeah, not so excitable right now. Finn McNamara goes out in 285th place, while Filippo Condio sits with a better than average chip stack right now. All right, let's take a look at the biggest stacks in the room. Matt Affleck still number 1, and look at the pro hoopster Michael Skinder in 3rd. Some other notable stacks: Johnny Chan approaching $2 million. The Ms. Rockies are straddling chip average, and Scotty Wynn is getting busy. Out to the chip leader, Matt Affleck, in a hand with former chip leader Tony Dunst. Affleck contemplating a re-raise from Dunst. Affleck responds with a re-raise of his own to $175,000.
These are two guys who like to be table captain. Affleck can't be too comfortable with Dunst to his left, but Affleck is having the better day.
I'm all in.
Dunst says, I'm willing to play for it all. I'm all in.
And Matt Affleck's body language is crying uncle.
And he does lay the hand down. Dunst will win that battle of wills. That drops Matt Affleck into 2nd place on the chip count, while Tony Dunst is back over $1 million. So that is a very tough table out there. All right, let's get back over to bracelet winner Theo Jorgensen. We saw earlier knock out Donnie Mizraki. His ace-6 is behind the ace-10 of Arma Otto, and Mikhail Timoshin standing just has jack-6. Jorgensen with his pair of 6s and better kicker takes the lead.
I like that.
And that's got the Danish poker pro dancing.
Elaine Bennis, step aside.
Turn card's a 5. Jorgensen still in line for a double whammy.
There really should have been a viewer discretion advisory before this hand began.
An 8 on the river, and Jorgensen with his 6s and an ace knocks out 2 players.
And Theo Jorgensen now has the chip lead at this main event.
So both Timoshin and Atto go away with almost $42,000.
Not more. Theo Jorgensen with a double knockout and a 4 show.
The Dane is the bane of everyone else here at the main event. Back to table 2. James Carroll in a hand with Edward O'Shana. Carroll with a pair of fours, bet 65,000 on the turn. Action to O'Shana with pocket kings, and he makes the call.
O'Shana with those pocket kings, but that ace on the board has to worry him.
All right, so these two will see a river card. The river's another ace. O'Shana as the check mark with the better aces up. Carroll, first to act, and he checks. O'Shana with the best of it, putting chips together. 103,000.
The board doesn't worry O'Shana any longer.
To Carroll now.
I call.
He makes the call, and he looks to O'Shana, who shows him the kings, and those kings were well disguised, Norman.
Yeah, O'Shana had just called pre-flop with his kings. Carroll might have thought O'Shana had called the turn to bluff the river.
A bit of a misstep for James Carroll, who has made his presence known in this main event by jousting with some big names.
You have to expect to play with some big names every now and then.
Phil Hellmuth waiting on his latest foil, James Carroll.
He doesn't really like me for some reason. I'm not sure why.
So bad, the guy.
Moron beats me.
He'd call me the worst effing player in the world. I basically just thought that was pretty funny, you know? The second day was actually really tough. I played with Daniel Negreanu.
Which one is James Carroll? That's you?
Yeah.
I heard you're good. I'm supposed to stay away from you.
There's actually another guy named James Carroll that plays poker. They have his picture up on all the websites with all my tournament results. I think I've been flying under the radar. For now, I think it's working to my advantage. I actually don't like the spotlight that much. Me? I kind of just play my game. I think I'm playing my best poker right now. Still looking for that big win. Hopefully it'll come in this one. But I'm pretty sure if you win the main event, you're definitely not going to be able to hide.
Carroll shares a place here in Las Vegas with Billy Kopp, who went deep at the main event last year. James hoping to surpass that feat this year.
Back to the featured table and the tail of the tape, brought to you by the official WSOP game. Play now on Facebook. Early on, Phil Galfond was 8-0 in voluntary hands.
But everything heading in the wrong direction ever since. He's lost 21 of 27 voluntary hands. Post-flop, he's lost 11 of 12. As a result, his chip stack is going south.
A player we met earlier has joined this table, Gary Kostiuk, who plays a lot online, so it's a great thrill for him to be here with Phil Galfond. He already knows about Filippo Candio.
We had fun yesterday. Good.
Yesterday was good. Today, no.
It was fun yesterday with Sammy at the table. And
yesterday was fun.
We had Sammy Farhart at the table. He was so much fun. He was great.
Sam Farha has since been knocked out. Both Candio and Kostiuk have survived. It's time now for the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
I've been watching episodes of The Mentalist lately to help me learn.
Action on Adam Eder. He looks down at Ace Jack.
I have deep insight into the human psyche, Lon. I believe this man is a real estate agent.
You are correct, sir. And the 28-year-old from Dallas raises to 30,000. Kostiuk with King Queen. And he folds. Now to Jonathan Driscoll. Driscoll looks down at 2 9s.
I have powerful observational skills. I believe this man's family runs an apple orchard in Quebec.
You are correct. And he will call for 30,000.
I'm feeling it, Lon.
Over now to Phil Galfond. He has the Jack Links wildcard hand.
No, not Galfond.
Good luck.
I don't have enough mentalist skills to keep up with him.
Galfond with the call from the button.
Well, from the button, I'll put him on a small pocket pair. Let's go with pocket 4s.
The great Galfond will see the flop with 2 amateurs, Driscoll and Eder. The flop is King Ace 8. Eder hits top pair. Eder first to act with the aces. Makes it 48,000 to stay in the hand.
You're getting very sleepy. Tick-tock, tick-tock.
And Driscoll lays his hand down.
I made him fold.
Very nice. Now Galfond.
I think he puts Eder on an ace, but he's going to come along. I don't think Phil has much.
Turn card is another king. Eder checks. Maybe Galfond's got a king. This is another run good moment for him.
Well, playing Galfond is scary tough, but checking to him makes it even more difficult.
He bets 65,000.
That's a small bet. It's as if he's inviting Eder to come on in. And why would Phil do that? Because he's acting like he's got a big hand, but I think he's just got a small pocket pair.
Eder makes the call.
I don't think Phil wanted a call there.
River card, 10 of diamonds. Eder with the aces up. Checks again.
I think Galfond has a small pocket pair, and he's asking himself, can another bet here get Eder off a hand like aces up?
Galfond checks now.
Oh, he's beat. He's beat.
Eder shows aces up. Galfond with a busted flush draw.
It kind of penetrated his mind.
Eder wins the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand against Phil Galfond.
I'm now a mentalist. My mind has become a dangerous weapon.
Phil's rush couldn't last forever, but he's wondering when this free fall will end.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Back inside the Rio, let's check in on German pro basketball player Michael Skinder, who's facing a raise from Nick Rainey on a low-flying flop of 7-deuce tray. Hassan Habib had bet $65,000. Rainey made it $215. Skinder lays it down. Now to Habib.
Rainey, a former professional tennis player and former personal assistant to Patrick Antonius. Habib, fourth in the main event in 2000, was a junior tennis champion in Pakistan.
Habib laid it down, and Rainey will take that pot.
Rainey was on the 2002 NCAA championship tennis team at USC. He won 14 pro titles, a lot of them in doubles.
Skinder gave up a few chips, but still over $2.3 million. Over now to Jean-Robert Ballon, who's in good shape to eliminate Steve Paris.
Come on, baby. Please. Please be good to me.
Ballon praying his pocket kings don't get cracked by the pocket queens of Paris.
2 queens in the deck. Just find a way to miss them.
Paris needs a queen to stick around.
The river card is paint, but it's a king, so Ballon set will knock out Steve Paris.
Okay, good. Don't scare me like that, bro.
You know, Las Vegas could be under nuclear attack, and Jean-Robert would not notice as long as his hand holds up.
Paris turns a $3 online qualifier into $42,000.
All right, that puts me back in action. You guys can't run over me anymore. Oh, really? Sorry, guys.
Pretty young lady.
I gotta take a stand.
So the man some call Bobby Ballon continues his nice main event run. Back over to table 2, where both Scotty Wynn and James Carroll sit. They watched on as Jonathan Duhamel moved all in with ace-5 of clubs. Brian Pellegrino has Duhamel at risk and dominated with ace-10.
Pellegrino, a 23-year-old New Hampshire pro. Duhamel, a 22-year-old Canadian pro.
All right, here's the flop. And Duhamel pairs his kicker to take the lead.
Duhamel, 1 foot out the door, can keep that door open for the moment.
Turn card is a queen, and Pellegrino picks up a Broadway draw.
Pellegrino then needs a jack or a 10 to knock out Duhamel.
The river card is a 4. Pellegrino will lose and double up Jonathan Duhamel.
A small smile from Duhamel. He's still got a small stack.
Less than half the chip average. So Duhamel got lucky there, but the 22-year-old is still short with just 352,000 chips. Back to the featured table now, where Phil Galfond's aura has weakened somewhat. Once over 2 million chips, he has been sending those chips to Michael Wyrot, among others here.
So at what point do you fly your parents in? Like final 27?
Like final 9. I mean,
final 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's not much to see.
Flying everybody in at 27.
My parents only want me to fly them in when I'm not home.
Ace deuce for Kostyuk, and he'll lay it down from early position over to Phil Galfond. Galfond looks down at 7-5 off.
Not even Phil Galfond can make a living off of 7-5 off, I believe.
Well, but he will try a raise to 27,000.
Well, Phil does call himself an innovative poker thinker, and he's a darn good one.
Folded to the big blind, Condio with 10 deuce of clubs.
Only Doyle Brunson can make a living off of 10 deuce.
Well, Condio's going to try a re-raise to 80,000.
I like that raise. He senses that Galfond was just splashing around, and he 3-bets it with nothing.
So back to Galfond, 53,000 more to call, and he'll do that.
Phil's got a plan.
Heads up, Condio, the best of the 2 pretenders, and it's 10, king, 8. Condio pairs his 10. He's first to act, he checks.
Phil with nothing.
Phil bet that nothing, 77,000.
Galfond getting frisky with Squadouche.
Raise.
Condio says raise.
The best defense against an aggressor is to be aggressive right back.
And he makes it 160,000 now.
Another poker injury line. It's getting more physical out there every year.
Who says it's not a sport?
I'd love to see Phil come back over the top here with his rags.
Can Galfond do that? He's been leaking chips, and he'll fold.
Nice work by Filippo.
Condio showing some heart and showed his hand.
È un lungo viaggio. Non togliere I pantaloni, amico mio.
Indeed. Galfond now below $1 million, while Condio happily approaching that milestone. inside the Rio. Day 5 of the main event winding down. Things could be going better for Phil Galfond. Of the 8 hands that have gone to showdown, he's won only 3.
Poker pros will tell you they don't want to go to showdown too often, and Galfond is going to the river with the worst hand too often.
Galfond first to act here. Look down at ace-7.
He says he uses 3 skills to put his opponent on a range of hands: psychology, deductive logic, and math.
A raise to 37,000 by Galfond. Jimmy Tran next to act with pocket 9s.
Tran taught himself to play 15 years ago. He has 14 World Series cashes.
And he makes the call from the hijack seat. Condio now on the button with ace-8 of diamonds.
By the way, earlier I was trying to tell Filippo in Italian, there's a long way to go, so keep your pants on, pal.
He does fold, so it will be heads up, Galfond and Tran. The flop is 5 queen jack. Tran and his pocket 9s are still best. Galfond checks.
No continuation bet from Galfond.
Tran checks as well.
Tran says no, too.
Turn cards tray of clubs. Tran still way ahead. Galfond. No, he looks like he's going to try to buy it. 52,000.
We've seen this before, Lon. If you show weakness, Phil Galfond will step up and try to seize control regardless of his 2 cards.
And he's done this exact move against Tran.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Let's bet this in.
Tran's going to lay it down again.
And shows his pocket 9s.
And Phil Galfond says, whew, thank you very much. So a little comeback for Phil. He's now just over 900,000. He, of course, was the first player over 2 million. That's nothing compared to the stack of Evan Lamprilla. That's about 3 million for Lamprilla. His opponent, Dalton Mills, moved all in with aces. Lamprilla makes the call with pocket 9s.
Mills, a 33-year-old pro from Jacksonville, Florida.
All right, here we go to the flop. Mills at risk. It is Jack 8-10. Mills still good.
Interesting.
Lamprilla picked up an up and down straight draw.
Got a new set of outs for Lamprilla.
Turn card. Oh, is the 9 and a set for Lamprilla. Puts Mills on the chopping block.
Mills needs an ace to win the pot, a queen or a 7 to chop it. Otherwise, he is gone.
The river card. Will it be Mills last? Yes, it is. That deuce will send Dalton Mills to the exit.
Evan Lamprilla, a 21-year-old Canadian student, and he is another one of the players left who could break Joe Cata's record as youngest champ ever.
And Lamprilla now sitting with the chip lead on day 5. Let's look at our chip count presented by PokerStars.net. Affleck, the only other player over 3 million. Skender still in the top 5. Among the notables, Johnny Chan at 1.6 million. The Grinder up to 1.4. Robert Mizrachi getting short. To Johnny Chan, who has a chance to knock off Garrett Adelstein, who's looking for a spade on the river to chop it.
Adelstein 4-bet all-in pre-flop with queen jack off suit.
The river card's a club, and Johnny Chan knocks out Adelstein.
Adelstein was 4th in chips at the start of the day, but like I said earlier, one misstep and you're gone.
And another big pot for the 2-time world champ.
Johnny Chan's shirt reminds me of a Jackson Pollock painting I once purchased.
Back to Matt Affleck, who could retake the chip lead here. He's got Vladislav Varlashin all in, but Varlashin's aces up lead the flush and straight draws of Affleck. The river card is a 6 of hearts that misses Affleck, so Varlashin will double up.
Matt Affleck providing a courtesy double up there. Just a small hit to Matt.
Matt remains as one of only 2 players over 3 million chips. All right, let's get back over to table 2, where Scotty Wynn and James Carroll reside. Both of them currently under the chip average, which stands around 900,000 right now. Action on Scotty on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam. Pocket Jacks.
Scotty's been playing it close to the vest here.
He's going to raise it up there with the Jacks to 42,000.
When he imploded at the end of the 07 main event, he admits he felt invincible and got a little too fancy.
James Carroll in the cutoff seat with pocket 10s.
Carroll says his live and online games are quite different. He's not nearly as aggressive live.
There it is, Scotty. Me and you for the first time.
Carroll makes the call.
You don't want it, baby. I told you, when I raised, I have the good, baby.
Yeah. Scotty speaks the truth.
Here's the flop. Not any longer as Carroll hits a set of 10s on the flop. Scotty, first to act. He's got an overpair to that board, but he's in trouble. He does bet 80,000.
Well, Carroll's now the one with the goods, but Scotty liked to see those 3 undercards to his jacks.
Carroll with a smooth call.
He just sits tight.
Another trade. Carroll improves to 10s full.
Fine.
All in.
An all in from Scotty and a call from Carroll with the best of it.
Oh, the kid traps the prince, and now only a jack would send James Carroll home.
Scotty is crestfallen. The river card is a 7, and there's a nice double up for James Carroll.
Thank you. How much you get total, baby?
Scotty takes a big hit, loses about half his stack. He'll be down to about 30 big blinds.
James Carroll over 1 million chips now.
15.
Scotty Wynn dropping below 500,000 once again as the Prince of Poker suffers quite a cooler here on day 5 of the main event. Welcome back. Let's go out in the field and check in on the grinder who's now at Jean-Robert Ballan's table. Ms. Rocky just re-raised Matt Keikoan pre-flop.
Keikoan won his second bracelet this year, and his brother Todd also cashed in this main event. They're a downsized version of the Mizrakis.
They are. He needs 67,000 to call, but he'll lay it down, and Ms. Rocky will take that pot and shows everyone pocket aces.
Boy, if Michael Mizrachi double parked right now, the car he was blocking would get a ticket.
Mizrachi started the day with about $250,000, now up to $1.5 million. His brother in not so good a shape right now. He's at risk with pocket kings, but he's leading against the straight draw and pair of 9s of Vern Keller.
Robert needs to dodge a 9 or a non-diamond 10.
The river card is a jack of spades, and Robert Mizrachi doubles up.
Mizrachi Palooza continues.
Nice hand.
And with kings up, Robert Mizrachi does double up, but still very short, under 430,000. Over now to Peter Jetton, whose face we saw earlier on the button of Kevin Boudreau at the featured table. Peter has a chance to knock out Lawrence Sloot.
Only an ace saves Sloot.
River card's a king, and Peter Jetton scores a knockout, and Sloot will make the walk.
Maybe your best chance against Peter Jetton is to wear a Peter Jetton button. I know I couldn't play looking at myself.
Somehow I think that strategy might work. So Peter Jetton now with 920,000 chips. Day 5's been good to him. Back to the featured table. Peter Jetton button wearer Kevin Boudreau is all in with 8-7 of diamonds, called by Jonathan Driscoll with ace-10. Phil Galfond, Boudreau's buddy, looking on.
What?
Kevin looking for help. The flop, and there's a pair of 8s for Boudreau to take the lead.
I don't know what flat is, but it works for Boudreau.
Turn card is a 6. Boudreau still good. As Driscoll looking to pair one of his 2 cards to knock out Boudreau.
I had a 7. Your 7's dead.
Yeah. It's going to be an ace or a 10 on the river.
Ace or 10 knocks out Boudreau.
The river card is the 10.
I told you.
Driscoll spikes the winner to send Kevin Boudreau to the exit.
Boy, I thought the Peter Jetton button was even more invincible than Peter Jetton. I'm going to miss Boudreau and the button.
The button could not pull him out of harm's way that time. Boudreau wins almost $49,000 for this main event. Driscoll now over $2 million here.
That's a lot of apples for the apple farmer.
Meanwhile, Galfond, who does have 1 bracelet, surely would love to add that one, the main event bracelet, to his collection. We'll keep it here at the featured table. Action on Filippo Candio with 10-7 off into the muck.
Candio likes to play pots, not getting much opportunity as of late.
Folded around 2, the 2 million chip man here, Jonathan Driscoll. King 8 off.
When he was 16, Driscoll won a square dancing championship with the girl who is now his wife. That's why I don't square dance.
Raised to 33,000 to Galfond. Once the big stack here, no longer. Pocket 9s.
He's in the small blind. Remember, Driscoll raised on the button.
Phil Galfond with a re-raise now to 86,000.
Generally, you should never flat call out of position. Of course, I do twice an hour every hour. But by re-raising out of position, as Phil has, you make it hard for your opponent to call.
Driscoll is going to come back over the top to 183,000.
Oh, well, when your opponent re-raises and you're out of position, this is now out of my range of expertise. Phil's on his own.
I'm on.
Phil can take care of himself. He moves all in.
Oh, Galfond's spot on here. His 3-bet was right, and now his 5-bet all-in is even more right.
Driscoll has him easily covered, but will lay it down, and Galfond takes that pot.
He's another one who will never see the inside of my home lawn when the cards are in the air.
Phil had enough chips to hurt Driscoll right there, and a hand to back it up. Nice move. And with that, Phil Galfond is back up over 1 million chips with a lot of work still left to do. All right, let's get back over to table 2, where we last saw Scotty Wynn taking a big hit when he doubled up James Carroll. Action is on Scotty right now. He looks down at ace-jack of spades.
You know, Scotty met his wife, Julie, when she asked for his autograph. That's why I don't sign autographs on.
Scotty raised to $60,000 to Carroll now.
Boy, he did put that hurting on Scotty just a bit earlier.
Carroll with trade deuce of diamonds, and he folds to Mads Vissing in the big blind from Denmark. Pocket kings.
I'm all in.
And raises Scotty all in.
All right, baby, I call.
And Scotty makes the call. He's at risk with ace-jack.
Bad news for Scotty. 30 big blinds left. He leans on the big suited ace, but he runs into kings.
Wow, as you mentioned earlier, how quickly a stack can evaporate, and it's about to happen to Scotty Wynn if he doesn't catch. Queen 7 trade, no help to Scotty.
The 98 champ has also made it to the last two tables of the main event on 2 other occasions, but he's running out of time here.
Turn card is a 10. Scotty picks up a Broadway draw.
So now the Prince of Poker needs an ace or a king, or he is wamboozled.
The river card is a jack, and that's not enough to keep Scotty Wynn in the main event. He goes out in 209th place.
Another stellar main event showing for Scotty Wynn.
Mads Vissing plays executioner this year to Scotty Wynn as the 1998 world champ walks away from another nice main event run. Day 5 saw several players run out of steam.
See you guys next year.
It was the end of the line for Donnie Mizrachi. But the race continues for brothers Robert and Michael. Phil Galfon's day took a definite downturn.
Not my day. I was kind of off.
While Matt Affleck and Michael Skender are among the chip leaders.
Oh, I feel great.
As is the only world champion remaining, Johnny Chan.
I think I'm in pretty good shape.
Filippo Condio and James Carroll continue on to day 6, while Scotty Wynn's main event hit the wall, baby.
So next year, baby.
205 players head now to day 6. Until then, for Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Thanks for watching the World Series of Poker.